I was on my knees with a bucket when the penthouse door swung open and Miami's most private billionaire froze. I had a rag in one hand, a kid on bright blue crutches at my side, and a timer on my phone still running for a second. Even the ocean outside felt quiet, like the city knew something was about to break. "Ms. Issa, I got this spot," Leo whispered, lip between his teeth, legs trembling, but proud, and there in the doorway stood his father, Noah Calder, the man who builds schedules other men obey, looking at us like he had opened the wrong life. "Yeah, that happened. I'm Isabel Cruz, Issa to everyone who matters. I clean houses, stretch paychecks, and carry a toolbox. You can't see a lifetime of hacks you learn when your little brother's legs don't listen, and you figure out that patience is a muscle too. I don't have a degree, I have calluses and stubbornness, and a towel that used to be a beach towel, and is now our gym every morning at 8 a.m. Ocean breeze soft. We stretch, we count, we chase 30 seconds like it's a gold medal. That day, Leo had just hit 4 minutes 22 without his crutches. We were aiming for 5. When the elevator dinged and the air changed, he turned so fast he wobbled. I caught his waist and we both turned to face the storm in a suit. "What's going on?" Noah said, voice flat, like a verdict. I braced for a lecture about lanes and contracts, but Leo stepped in front of me like a tiny shield. "Don't be mad. Dad, she helps me when it hurts. She makes the hurting feel like progress. You know what I mean? Sometimes kids tell the truth before adults can even find it." Noah's eyes flicked from the crutches to the rag to the timer. "Practice," he said, like the word might explode. I told him the truth, 6 months on my breaks or after chores, never letting anything slide. I'd stop if he said stop, but I'd hate it. He sent Leo to rest, then asked me questions like a boardroom with the door shut. "Where did you learn? Does it help? Why do you care this much?" And I talked about Little Havana, and 2 buses before dawn, and my brother Mateo and YouTube therapists who build miracles out of resistance bands and faith. I told him belief is the first muscle we train, and when belief grows, effort follows, and effort surprises everybody. Leo's crutches clattered in the hallway. He peeked back in. "You're not sending her away, right?" And Noah, the man people call an iceberg in a $1,000 tie, kneeled to eye level and said, "Do you like Ms. Issa?" Leo frowned like a tiny judge. "I don't like her. I love her. She listens. She waits. She doesn't laugh when I fall." I stared at the fridge so I wouldn't cry. The next morning, 6:45 a.m., a thing I never expected walked into the kitchen. Noah in a t-shirt asking what his son eats on Mondays. "Pancakes," I said. "He calls them power circles." Noah smiled like something unclenched in his face. He burned the first pancake fixed, the second, nailed the third, and watched every minute of practice without checking his phone. Leo held for 30 seconds. We all breathed like we were learning how. Day 2, calendar pings chimed and he canceled meetings without blinking. "Again, Captain," he said, starting the timer himself. And I thought maybe the city's machines can run without him for one morning. Maybe this is what showing up looks like when a man decides to be a father first. A week later, he asked me to the office with the museum view of the bay. "I owe you more than a thank you," he said. "I want this official. Another cleaner can handle the rest. Your job is Leo's companion and coach, and if you want, I'll sponsor the certificates, the courses, all of it." I stared at my hands, thought about rent and insulin and rice and how every plan I've ever made had to fit inside a paycheck that starts small and ends smaller. "I don't have a degree," I said. "I have tricks and stubbornness." He shook his head. "You have what my son needs, the rest we can build." We found a rhythm mornings on the towel, afternoons, with math and Lego, and balance breaks between spelling words. It wasn't pretty some days. Leo shook so hard I wanted to pick him up and carry him away from gravity. Some days he crashed sideways and swore under his breath, and then laughed, because sometimes a fall is just a fall. The worst days were the ones he whispered. Why me? And I told him the only honest thing I know. We all get a storm. Some of us learn to dance in the rain, cliché until you live it. Then it feels like oxygen. People noticed the doorman started saying, "Morning, coach." The lady with the tiny dogs said he looked taller. Confidence does that to a spine. And then there was the gala at Vizcaya. Pale blue dress, borrowed from my cousin Leo, in a tiny suit. The kind of night where rules have rules. We walked in and you could feel certain eyes sharpen. A woman let her whisper. Hover on purpose is that the help a man scoffed like Noah had broken a law. And before I could shrink, Leo squeezed my hand and said, "People are being silly, they don't know you." Noah heard set down his glass, and in a voice that wasn't loud, but somehow filled the whole courtyard, said, "That woman did what my money could not. She made my son believe, if that bothers you, your problem is bigger than mine." Yeah, that happened. The temperature in the room changed. Some faces turned away. Some nodded like they'd been waiting for someone to say it out loud. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. A call from a man named Grant Hollister. His grandson has cerebral palsy. He wanted to hire me away, double pay, benefits, a car, and he called me directly, which made me want to toss my phone in the canal. I told Noah first, because honesty keeps you from drowning. He stared at the floor for a long second, then asked, "What happens to my son if you leave?" Not a trap, a truth, I pictured. Leo's face, the towel rolled up in a closet, the timer quiet, a different boy in a different house with a different coach, and I wanted to be 1,000 women so I could help them all. He'd be heartbroken, I said. So would I, Noah answered, then matched the offer and beat it. But what settled it wasn't the number, it was this: you're not an employee to us anymore. You're family. If you grew up where I did, you know words like that are sacred. I stayed. The morning that changed everything looked ordinary. Clean sky, lazy wind on the bay, Leo's hair a dandelion. We had done stretches and holds, and I felt a quiet in him I trust. 2 steps without crutches. Just 2, I said. He looked at his dad. Noah knelt a few feet away and opened his arms. "I know you can," he said, steady like bedrock. Leo set the crutches aside, fingers hovering like birds, testing wind, 1 step, knee, quivering. I floated my hands without touching. 2nd step, a wobble, a finding of center. 3rd step. He decided on his own laughter, bursting out as he fell into his father's chest, not crying. Laughing so hard the sound cracked something open in me. I didn't know had sealed shut. "I walked," he gasped. "Dad, I walked." Noah pressed his face into Leo's hair. I looked away because joy like that deserves privacy. After that, the world got louder. Cameras wanted grit, quotes from Noah, like he invented it. Blogs wanted hacks from me, like I didn't learn half of them on a towel next to a fan, because the AC had died. People online argued about lines and ladders, and who gets to stand where I deleted apps for a week, and remembered the bay is quieter than the internet then. One night on the balcony, Leo asleep, manzanilla in my cup, Miami arguing with clouds. Noah stepped out without the armor. "I closed everything off after my wife died," he said. "Kept the machines running and hoped grief would shut up. It didn't. You turned the volume down. I don't want to do any of this without you." Near, I set my cup down because my hands were shaking. "People already talk," I said. "They'll talk louder." "Let them," he said. "They don't live here." And I told him the line that mattered to me. "If we do this, it has to be for the right reasons, not because I saved your schedule, not because you saved my rent, Because we're good for Leo and good for each other when no one's watching, he nodded, didn't push. We sat with the quiet like it was a third person on the balcony. Do we ride off into a wedding, a headline, a fairy tale? Not yet, maybe never, maybe love that grows out of grit and labor doesn't need a press release to be real. What I know is this: every morning, the towel still goes down. Every morning, Leo tries again, 35, 40, 50. Fail, laugh, start again. The miracle wasn't one morning. The miracle is showing up. So let me ask you, is it wrong for a man with power to stand beside a woman the world calls invisible if they meet each other at eye level? Is it foolish to tie your future to a child's progress chart and a towel on the grass? Have you seen someone like Leo get counted out and then counted in because someone believed longer than made sense? Drop your thoughts below. Push back, argue. Tell me what you've witnessed in your city or your family. And if this made you feel anything, share it with someone who might need one more reason to try again tomorrow.